I'm gonna tell you a story. The first thing you gotta understand is that it doesn't work the way you think it does. You can call me Oracle because I'm the one who's talking to you. Well, welcome to the cult. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. Have fun storming the castle. Anyway, it's Christmas Day. I was gonna show you a present I got from my aunt. My aunt's a jeweler. Like, she makes her own stuff. And sells it on Etsy and stuff. And she made me a bracelet. It's pretty baller, I gotta say. And, ended up, giving her a pudgy. It's a little, it's adorable. It's a little stuffed penguin. That's one of the cutest things I've ever seen. Anyway, and, let's see. I found out, news from the world of my former employer. So I think I mentioned in a couple of my videos that like I used to be a manager of a gas station. Specifically, I was a manager of a Circle K, and I found out that woman who was my assistant manager before I ended up having a parting of ways with Circle K is now actually the manager of that store that I was managing, and I'm like super excited for her. Yay! Um, just putting that out there. Happy post Hanukkah to those of you who celebrated it. It was about a week before Christmas is when it ended up wrapping up. So happy post Hanukkah to those of you who celebrate it. Happy Christmas to those who in England say Happy Christmas, and those who say Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, and those who say it in America that way. I'm not really sure if they say it in Japan because I know Japan. I know like because of the whole like integration of American business with the Zaibatsu at the end of World War II. For example, if you've ever seen uh, one particular anime, which one am I trying to remember? Soma Spider. So what? If you ever seen Soma Spider? So what? Um, there's a reference to the skill taboo, or in Sanskrit it would be Niseta, but the skill taboo, which is essentially it's a very big like plot relevant skill in that anime, but in Japanese, taboo is kinki. I'm not even joking. So I think actually like because a lot of especially I think a lot of BDSM culture got a lot of I'm gonna say interesting feedback from Americans coming back from Japan, especially because you have like shibari, which is Japanese rope work, um, and it might possibly be that the word kinky entered in like American vernacular because of World War II, because it was a bunch of sexual practices that were well forbidden, taboo. They were taboo. And the interesting thing about taboo is like, especially in religious contexts, taboos exist for a variety of reasons, like in Judaism and Judaism and Islam, as opposed to Catholicism. Now, Catholicism predominantly was all over Europe, and Judaism and Islam are both worldwide religions, but they're both like centered in the Middle East. I mentioned this before that there's the dietary restriction on like on pork being considered like taboo. It's Niseta for most Jews, and as far as I know, pretty much all Jews and and Muslims. And like there's also the whole core concept of kosher and halal. Because like I actually asked one of my previous bosses because I worked at a place that was a pizza delivery place that was run by a Turkish gentleman who was Muslim, and his and they served halal food to customers who wanted halal food, and that's the thing. It had to do with partially to do with how it's stored, and partially to do with I believe in a mom, uh, uh, a holy person uh, from the Islam faith, sanctifying the food and basically like cleansing it of the sin of it being an animal that was killed. Pretty solid. If I understand correctly, actually, rabbis, if I understand correctly, can make food halal. I could be wrong about that. Anyone who understands, like, specifically kosher and halal who ends up watching this video wants to correct me, please feel free, because, like I've said before, I could be wrong. I could be wrong all day. Let's see. What else? Ooh. Everyone I ever said I love you to. I love you again. Merry Christmas. Oh, you know what? I'll share this for Christmas. This is a sigil or a Manus Kithra, a picture of Manus Pratima, an image, or a Pratima that is part of my Chaos Magic Naipunya Vexa, or skill tree. Whoop. This is the linking sigil. You can tell it's a linking sigil, partially, because it has the arrows, and there's an L, whoop, and an S. Whoop. I'm not even joking. Like, the interesting thing about sigils and like Manus Kitra and Pratima in general is that in some cases, just looking at them, you will get what it does, because that's partially what it does. Is it taps into things that are intuitive, that are like at the Basra, or the intersection of your linguistic thinking and your Basa mana and your Vak mana, like your spoken thought. So it's interesting like that, and like it's also because of being a Pratima, it's also at the buzzer of essentially like your visual thought, like your Geodas mana and your like, I guess, like intelligence thought, and your Sva mana, like because like the Svasthana, or like the ego level, is very, very closely tied to Pratibimba, mirror image, is very closely tied to Chaya, or shadow. And it's also very closely tied to Pratima in general, because it's just kind of how it is. I don't have a better way to explain it, unfortunately. Alright, since I've made it out and tried to come up with something else to say, and I've lacked the ability to really clearly elaborate on the things I've said so far, I think I'm gonna try to ease out of this for now. And you know, it's a Christmas episode. It can be light. I might do another one later. I might not. We'll see. But one way or another, happy holidays. If you do not celebrate the Hanukkah or the Christmas, if you're like atheist or agnostic, or if you're Buddhist and it's like you're a Buddhist, like that is a practitioner of, like, meditation and like trying to be enlightened, but you're like more religiously, Hindu. Obviously there are other festivals that are like that are around this time of the year, like Festival of Lights and that sort of thing. But happy festival, blessed Yule to all those. Yesterday was the because I mentioned I lost a friend of mine, my dear friend Muffin, last. I actually lost it last Christmas Eve. So I said Merry Christmas on Facebook. Last time I actually talked to her was on Facebook, and I said I love you, Muffin, because I miss her. I also saw something on X that I was like, man, that's a good thing, and it was like someone who basically lost their mom last night, and they said like, I lost my mom, and I'm not saying this to like ask for condolences or anything, but just to be like, let people know, like, this sometimes we lose people this time of year, and like that's awful. But it doesn't really have to be the end of the world, and I don't think they would want it to be the end of the world. So like, it was sort of like a posting of awareness, like, you know, we lose people. And I was like, yeah, I lost one of my best friends on Christmas Eve last year. Like, thank you for sharing. So, you know, Merry Christmas. Love who you got, because you don't know how long you got them. It's kind of a trite thing to say, especially on Christmas, but like, it's the truth. I lost my mom the day before Valentine's Day, and I lost one of my best friends the day before Christmas. So like, take that for what it is. It's a true thing. It's like a bit of an ugly truth, but if you take it with the right context, it can like maybe it'll inform you into be like be a little bit happier with your truth. So this is Oracle, and dream safely, everyone.